Yeah.
I don't have spray tan on right now, so that kind of sucks. My spray tan's not till Friday.
Well, we're hibernating still, you know.
Oh, gosh. It's so bad. And then my makeup's too dark, so then I was putting on lighter makeup, and it's just not, anyway.
Yeah. Eventually, you just got layers and layers. Yes. Yeah. Well, mine's coming in nice, my natural tan.
I know. It's like, wow, that must be nice.
No, I'm as white as can be, yeah. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. We'd love to meet you. A lot of people already know you. The audience is here in this camera. But we'd love you to introduce yourself, and then we can all meet you kind of together. So feel free to tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah. Do I talk to you or?
Just talk to me, yeah.
Okay.
You can talk to them if you're saying something, but they're just watching, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
My name's Brianna, but only my mom calls me the full name, you know.
Yeah.
And
if you're in trouble, right?
If I'm in trouble. Same with my boyfriend. He calls me Rojo because he's Hispanic, and red in Spanish is Rojo.
Right.
And so it's all. I also respond to Rojo, but it's Bree, and I used to work here in Suncrest. I did the lifestyle for the community for about 4 years, and so that was like the website, social media, all the communications, and the events. And now I'm off doing my own thing, and yeah, I mean, so that's what I've been doing.
It's a good elevator pitch of who you are.
Yeah.
So we've kind of known about you for years. Some of us kind of feel like you almost lived here, you know, like you live here basically. So we'd love to kind of get insight into what you're doing now, because we care about your success and where you're going and that sort of thing. But I didn't even know you were even leaving. So so we're like sad to see you go, but we love to see what you're doing.
Thanks. And this community is great too, and a lot of people have followed up with me through social media, which is so great and so nice. But now, so I've been running my own business with my boyfriend. We have a couple businesses, but we do real estate investing and events. So I still do event planning. I don't really want to be hired for events. Like, I'll help out, but I don't really want to. I just want to do my own events. So if people want to hire me, I mean, we can. But
well, what would they hire you for? That's a good question. So, so events is a very broad term. It's like saying I like color. Yeah. What color is your favorite color? So what type of event are you? Are there a certain style event you're doing, or certain things you can be hired for? Yeah,
I mean, not really. Like I'm still doing, from my experience with the farmers market up here, I love the farmers market, and I learned a ton with the farmers market. So I'm going to be doing pop-up events. I still want to help business owners get their business out there. So any partnerships, or like if they want to do a pop-up event to advertise their business, like I would love to help with that. But I still love networking too. So I love networking. So I want to continue the wine and jazz events. It'll just be on my own.
Really?
Yeah.
You do them here in Suncrest?
Yeah. Did you ever come to one?
No, I never made it. We had little kids screaming all the time, so we never made it.
Oh, the wine and jazz events here were fun. And so there was a few adult events that we did here in Suncrest because, I mean, just to leave the kids at home. And I wanted to try and bring the community here together and not make it so like, oh, well, I don't drink, so I can't go. Right? So I wanted to bring the adults and have like a fun night with the adults. And so I still advertised we have non-alcoholic drinks, and I think we did a pretty good job over the past couple of years bringing people together.
I've only heard good things about it, so
thanks.
So definitely speaking to it.
That and the casino night. So I'll still be doing casino nights, but I'm going to pair it with a charity event. Yeah, so I've got other venues that I'll be doing that at, and I'd love everyone to come if you can.
So where are those going to happen?
There'll be different places all the time. So the wine and jazz this year will be at actually one of my friends' homes down in Provo, but it's a huge, beautiful home. She's got the pool and everything. We'll be putting aerial artists above the pool.
Wow.
And so it's just, I mean, I'm still doing the events, just it'll be outside and it'll be for networking purposes and just business owners, and that's what I want to help.
Wow.
Yeah. So not really a niche or anything. I think it's just like, I love, for example, the Disney event that we did here, the annual Disney event. The reason why there were mermaids in the pool were because I had a dream about mermaids.
What?
And then the next morning I was like, I'm going to rent some mermaids. And so I like to use my creativity and just see what I can do. Yeah. And I want to continue doing that. So I think if I was hired for through someone else, I wouldn't, I mean, I could still do my creativity, but I'd rather just
it might be stifled a little bit.
Yeah.
So farmers markets, let's kind of think those, we've all seen those. A lot of people have seen those, have been to them. Amazing job, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did you have experience before coming to Suncrest, or was that your first time? And if it was, how was your first time doing it?
Oh my gosh. So I did not have experience before.
No.
Priscilla, who used to work here, and Kristen, they were like, hey, we should do a market here in Suncrest. And that was 2.5 years ago. It was right before November. So it was winter was coming, and I was about to leave for Vietnam, actually. And I was like, okay, I think we can scoop this together. I was like, how hard can it be? So we started a small market out in the park, but it was all snow. We had a few residents join, because it was mainly for residents at that point. And anyway, we tried to pull it together, and then it was storming that day, but the residents still loved it. The business owners up here really loved it. So I was like, okay, next year, I think we can make it an actual market. And so I was even inviting businesses to come join the market for free, because it's hard to get people to join a market that they don't know about, especially when every city has one.
Right.
And so anyway, and then it started growing more and more, and I finally got a farmer. It's really hard to get farmers to want to come up here. They're like, once a month, who do you think you are? And I was like, well, like I had one guy throw a flyer at me. Like, I don't think you understand how hard I was working to get people at the market up here in Suncrest.
I believe it.
I went to every market. I was handing out flyers to every business owner. Some of them just brushed me off like I was nothing.
Like a gnat?
Yeah. They're like, oh, who's this young girl think she is? And I'm like, I'm a badass.
A boss babe.
I'm a boss babe.
Yeah.
But,
what was the term? It's a boss.
Oh, boss lady.
Boss lady.
Boss lady. And so I was printing out flyers on my own, and I was going to different neighborhoods at night and putting them on every car. Like I was trying to. Oh yeah.
All on your own.
All on my own.
You're like I gotta find a way.
I did this for you.
I did this for you.
But
she did, not me.
But yeah, and then the market just kind of came to be, and like I learned as I went, right? So like the Utah Health Department reached out, and they're like, "Hey, we see you have an event. We haven't heard from you." And I'm like, I didn't realize. And the Utah Department of Agriculture, and all the permits through the state and the city, and so I had to do all these things through all these different departments to make sure that we could have this market up here.
My goodness.
And so I learned it as I went.
So from day one to now, you've done how many estimated markets did you end up executing and completing? Because that's a lot.
11.
Yeah. So each one got better and better, I noticed.
Yeah.
Then we had like bands, and then we had, so it was all this amazing stuff.
Yeah.
That wasn't just happening on its own. And a lot of people show up to these markets and they think, this just happens, right? And I'm sure you had that did you have that same perspective before? You just show up to a party and like, wow, this is just,
Yeah, I think I would come to an event and I'm like, this is cool, I had a fun time, but you don't think about how much goes into an event.
Like power, sound, lighting.
Where the outlets are, and not to trip over this cord, and
safety.
Yes, food. Oh, the food, you know. It's like you want to advertise first, or while supplies last, always. I always advertise while supplies last, because I don't want anyone to be mad if I run out of food. I always want to have more than I need. But sometimes you run out.
And then people are happy to get it for free at the end of the event. Like, here's 1,000 donuts.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many people. I still got some haters, but you just deal with. Oh yeah, I mean.
Over the food or over?
Yeah, I mean over the food, the event, where booths are. Like people are still angry. Like you'll never please everybody.
No.
So I mean, you get used to it. I've gotten tougher skin working in an HOA. So.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So there must have been a lot of like turbulence for you starting out. Like so what made you want to stick with it? Like cuz did you know you liked all that stuff? Or do you not like that stuff and that's stuff you have to deal with to get to the mermaid stuff or the fun stuff?
No, I loved it. I think there's definitely turbulence, but I'm the type that I love a challenge, and I like to be like, oh, I saw this hump and I hopped right over it, you know?
Yeah.
I like to prove to myself that I can do it and I can make something successful. And I don't know, I really love to make an event where people can walk away with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of events, sometimes I would do them and only maybe 2 people would come, and I'd take it so hard because I'm like,
really?
Oh my gosh, like no one came. But then I have to remind myself that those 2 people came and those 2 people had a great time. So, I mean, I had to work through that, but I love it. I enjoy it. So
it's kind of like this. I've asked probably 100 people to come on, and I get hopefully 1 a month.
Yeah, I don't know. People don't like to try new things, but
I think people like doing things, but in their bubble, right?
Yes.
Their comfort bubble. And I think one thing that you've done a great job of is kind of expanding the horizons of who's here and why people are here.
Yeah.
So I know you're not here. You're not doing them as much actively here now. You're still engaged with us, but you help the community grow quite a bit.
Thank you.
So we all appreciate it. So I want to say thank you. Bring you on here and say thank you. Everybody can say thank you in the comments if you see this.
Yeah.
But we'd love to know what you're pursuing now. So you said boss lady. So what does that entail? So you have a vision of where you're going. Is that
Oh
accurate?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think my vision honestly is like I I don't like to ask permission to go on vacation and trips. Like, I love leaving the country. Really? And being in a
like
job.
Vietnam is an example.
Oh, yeah. Vietnam. I've been to Dubai, Thailand. Yeah. We're going to Croatia. We're sailing the coast of Croatia this year for my 30th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah. And so.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. In August. Yeah. But yeah. And so I love doing that. And working like a normal 9-to-5 job to me, asking permission to go. And, you know, I love Suncrest, but it's not the freedom that I'm looking for. And so, and I know that I work really hard to be able to get there. So why not go try it on my own?
Yeah.
And so I'm not actually involved with Suncrest anymore, besides helping Molly, the new lifestyle director.
Sure. As a contractor, more or less.
Yeah, I was going to for the farmers market, which we'll get to that. But
okay.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, I mean, I think my vision is just to create this life for myself that I can. I work so hard, and in the end, is that reward where I can say yes to anything that I want.
Yeah.
So. Like I'm telling you earlier, I really want to buy a hot air balloon this year.
Yeah.
I joined a hot air balloon team. I was initiated in. I am just, and I'm doing an event at the end of this year in October where I'm hanging my aerial performers from a hot air balloon. Everyone will get an invite, but I will send that out.
So will you be in the balloon?
I've been in the balloon, actually. He let me go up in the balloon the day that I was initiated. I know it sounds like a cult. It's not, but...
I'm following.
Yes,
so
but...
How do I get in your downline of the balloon thing?
Stay tuned. I'll buy my own balloon, and then I'm just going to see who wants to go on a ride.
Does it involve oils of any kind or perfume?
Ponzi schemes? No, just a whole lot of personality.
Yeah, a whole lot of balloon.
Yes.
But you're in the balloon thing now.
Yeah, I want to be. I'm getting more into it, but everything takes progress.
But you're indicted. What is it? You're accepted into.
I was initiated onto the Nemesis balloon team.
Nemesis balloon team.
Which really that just entails that there's all these balloon events all over Utah and even outside Utah. And the guy that I met is a pilot. And he flies the Chick-fil-A balloon. He flies the Sumo. So I think they do solar balloon. And anyway, so you just being initiated in, we're in a group chat. We say, hey, there's a big balloon festival in Kanab this weekend. And everybody's like, we'll be there to help. And you just help unroll it. You help blow it up. You help just.
It's like going camping, but a bigger tent, kind of like you're just like dealing with all of the gear.
Yeah.
And then you're blowing it up. So. Yeah. So what got you interested in balloons?
I like to be different, and I like to be memorable. So I'm like, which one of my friends do a lot of things with hot air balloons? Zero. So I'm going to be that friend. It's kind of like, I don't know if you noticed, I carry a hedgehog in my purse.
I noticed that one day.
Yes.
And I thought you were joking, and you pulled it out, and I was like, there's actually a hedgehog in her purse. Is it pooping in there? Where does it go to the bathroom?
Sometimes you just shake it out. But it's memorable, And
well, our kids are like, can we get a hedgehog? And I was like, I don't know where it's going to go poop.
In their wheel. Fun fact about hedgehogs, they run like 10 to 15 miles a night. So you have to have a good wheel.
What?
And they mostly poo on the wheel while they're running.
15 miles?
That's what I said.
They're like this big.
I know, but they're...
Like a hamster.
Yeah,
like
they're
a fat
just
hamster.
Quick.
Can you hear it at night? Like,
well, I keep her, she has her own room. Yeah. Well, she died last week, actually.
Oh, my word.
I know.
How old was she?
She was like 5, which is actually a really good age for hedgehogs, believe it or not.
I know nothing about hedgehogs.
Oh, yeah, they are like...
I'm sorry you lost your hedgehog.
Thank you. Yeah, she got wobbly hedgehog syndrome, which is actually a thing. It sounds like it's not a thing, but it is. It's a wobbly hedgehog syndrome, WHS, and it attacks their brain, so it's a neurological disease where they go... they get paralyzed and then they die. So it was a couple weeks ago, I guess, that she died. Because it was my last day, the day before my last day here at Suncrest. And I was like, I just have to go home and see her. So I left work a little bit early, came home, and I gave her a little snuggle. And I went upstairs and made a sandwich, and then she died. So she waited till I got home. Wow. But I am on the list for a baby, and they should be born this week, and then I can take them.
Are they expensive to buy?
Yeah, I mean, you can get them for maybe $100 on KSL or Facebook, but they can come with some diseases, right? So more, I don't know, so I've heard. And so there's this woman, her name, it's Prickly Farms in South Jordan, and she breeds hedgehogs.
Prickly Farms, if you're
Prickly
looking.
Farms, and she breeds them, and they're really good bloodlines, so they might be up to $350. Yeah. But they're so cute, and I can't wait, and I can take them home at 6 weeks old.
So did your first one you had? What was its name? Her name.
Well, so at first I was told it was a boy, so it was Sir Douglas Quilliam.
Okay.
And then I Googled how you can tell the difference between a boy and a girl hedgehog.
Right.
And it's clear as day. Like it looks like a belly button. It looks like a belly button, but that is their wiener. And anyway, she did not have a belly button. So anyway, it was a girl. So I named her Lady Quilly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got her as I don't know what you call a baby hedgehog, like a kitten hedgehog.
I think it's I don't know. Hedgie? Hoglet?
Hoglet?
That's a good question. I don't know.
A smaller, an infant hedgehog.
Yeah, I like Hedgie.
Hedgie.
Yeah.
When did you get the Hedgie? Was it like a few weeks old or a year?
I think I got her, I was told it was like 8 months, so almost a year.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was funny because she was a gift to me on my birthday by my best friend and my boyfriend. They teamed up and got me a hedgehog.
How do you feel about gifting animals? Is that something that you do?
I don't do that. No. And I even told them, my friend was like, I'm so excited to give you your birthday gift. And I was like, if it's an animal, I'm going to be pissed. And she instantly was like, oh no. And then she pulled it out and I just fell in love with her. And so and I bought her a cute leather purse at TJ Maxx. And and then
to me, if someone gave me an animal, it's like, have you seen that commercial where it's like a Mad TV skit or something where they gift them a car, and then they're like, "What have you done with our finances?"
Yes. Yeah.
What have you done?
I was shocked, but just so you know, they are very low maintenance. They're nocturnal. You give them like a tablespoon of kitten food every night, and that's it.
Kitten food?
Yeah, kitten food. There's more nutrients in it, and worms, like mealworms. They love them.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's more.
It's like a house plant that just kind of crawls around.
Pretty much. That's why I'm like, it's so easy. I brought her to Bear Lake. I brought her camping. I brought her on.
Like on a boat?
Yeah. Yeah. And I got this giant ball so she could roll around in it and I wouldn't have to worry about it. I'm like, how could a hedgehog get lost in this giant ball at this cabin in Bear Lake we got? And then she figured out how to open it. And I swear, she looked me dead in the eyes and she just popped it open and walked out. And I was like, oh, so then I couldn't.
So could it escape 30 miles? Or how many miles was it away? It was 10 miles?
Oh, 10 to 15 miles. I don't know how fast. They're pretty fast. But I'd like walk her in the Suncrest Park all the time because I brought her to work.
You did? Every day?
In the summer. Yes, not in the winter. But yeah, and I'd take her on walks in the park. And there was one lady who worked in the K2 building at the time. She was like peeking at me through the bushes, and she actually lives here in Suncrest.
Through the bushes?
She's peeking at me. I'm like, what is this lady
like she's
doing?
In the bushes?
Yeah, she's like looking through. And,
like Homer Simpson peeking in through the bushes?
And I was like, what is she doing? And she's like, is that a hedgehog? And I'm like, well, you could have just asked me. And
was it on your desk?
No, I was out in the park at the time.
Okay.
And she's like, I have a hedgehog. And I was like, what? And then we bonded, and she was so cool.
Wow. So there's I've never seen a hedgehog really, except for like a event where they're like, here's a hedgehog.
Right.
I'm like, wow, it's prickly. You
yeah.
know? And then like
not much
like,
to it.
Yeah, that's wild.
And it's funny because when I had the petting zoos at the farmers market here, they would bring a hedgehog. And I'd bring my hedgehog over there and I'd be like, let her look inside the fence in the cage. I'm like, see that guy? He's stuck in there, but you're free.
In a ball, in a cabin.
In a ball, in my bag. And the fire department was so great.
Where are you gonna poop?
Yeah, I know. You really just dump it out. And the fire department was so great because they were like her godfathers. What? And they would watch her during my event sometimes. So if you did see a fireman walking around with the leather purse, and you're like, some people were like, why does he have a purse on? I'm like, it was Quilly. And they were just watching her for me while I was busy running the market. And they'd take her over to the fire station and they'd put her in like these they had like a gun case and they're like, fun fact, she fits in an AR-15 mag like case. She's like sitting in this gun case.
They put guns in her hands and she's just...
You're right. She's the coolest hedgehog.
The fire hose in her hands. Yeah. She's just sitting on top of it. She got
to ride in the fire truck. She was so cool, yeah.
Wow, this hedgehog's living more life than I'm living.
You gotta step it up.
I know. Yeah, I'm trying. Yep. Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't mean to talk so much about hedgehogs, but it's a very niche thing.
It is, and that's another back on the track of being memorable.
Yeah.
I mean, who can resist a redhead with a hot air balloon
and a hedgehog at the same time? Are you going to combine those three things together?
I have to.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, I mean, the redhead's a given, so.
But it's naturally red, though.
It is, yeah. I'm Scottish and Irish in the family, so it just hit me.
Really? But you have siblings? Or? Uh-huh. So are you all redheads then?
Yeah, so I have one brother, and he is also a redhead. So.
Really? Mm-hmm. And it's pretty red. I mean, does it get redder with the sun if it's outside?
It gets a little lighter, probably more strawberry blonde.
But it's a rare thing.
Yeah.
Like, having red hair is like one of the rarest genetic things out there for hair color.
Yeah, with blue eyes too.
Yeah.
And so I tell people, I'm like, when I go, I mean, you just stuff me and put them on the wall. It's like we had one of these.
We got it.
We got it.
Next door, a hedgehog. Yeah. Both. We've seen a hot air balloon one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you're doing like your own businesses. So you have your event side of things, and that's your creative personality.
Yep.
Then you have your like kind of like business personality. That's I never think of business as creative, but you kind of blended the two together.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, so that's the goal, and you're kind of like mixing oil and water sometimes. So kind of talk to that. Like, what's the other side of you doing that's keeping this all going?
Yeah. So started getting into real estate investing about 3 years ago, and my boyfriend, he was laid off right after COVID, and we're like, we have to dive into something, right?
Yeah.
And so we're like, let's do Airbnbs, and so we got 10 of them downtown in about 8 months.
10 Airbnbs?
10 Airbnbs, and they were all around kind of the capital. I have a few in Sugar House, and then the rest were around the capital. And down the street from like the Delta Center.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're like, let's do it. So we did it. And then we did a fix and flip down in Mexico, which we just won't do that again because Mexico, love them. They're hard workers, but they only come when they need the money. So
the Breaking Bad music starts playing.
and over in Mexico, in this area, everybody has their own water tank on the roof. And in the time that, we paid them for the first portion that they did on this fix and flip, and then they were like, we're good for now. So they didn't come back for a while. And in that time, somebody took the pipe to our water tank in the house, like the copper pipe. And I was like, oh.
No way.
Who does that? And then by the time they came back and finished, we had to replace all these things. So anyway, won't do that. We still have properties over there. We have commercial property that we rent out and some residential that we rent out.
And he knows people in Mexico?
His family's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's got dual citizenship type of thing.
Yeah, which is
Very
great.
cool.
And so we'll do that. And then we bought a few new builds. So we're house hacking. And which is, you kind of move into one every 6 months. And so that's
house hacking.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, house hacking, long story short, it is where you purchase a home and you only have to put 5% down because you're going to be owner occupied. So it will be owner occupied, so less money down. You live in it for a year and then rent out each individual bedroom. So that's what pays my mortgage. And then he also does that. And so every 6 months, and then we'll buy a house and move into one. And then we'll buy another one.
So you're moving every year.
Yeah.
You're both moving every year.
We're both moving every
Holy
year
moly.
to gain these houses, and then we'll move in together at the end of this year.
This is all happening while you were trying to find where you can rent baby goats.
Yeah, along with Suncrest, which is why sadly I had to leave, but I just got a little busy. But yeah, so I do the real estate side, and now we're wholesaling. And that is our massive income side. And then the events, because we love helping business owners get started, and networking and getting to know people are the best way to do it, which is why I brought in the event side. Yeah. And so, the more you know, the more people.
You can get
sorry.
it.
Oh no, he's good. But
he's
the more
our house isn't selling. I'm super stressed.
He calls me all the time. He will. Then we'll get back to it. But my boyfriend, we've been together for 7 years, and so it's been a good chunk.
Wow.
And so but anyway,
sounds like he's a little slow.
No, we're just busy with the businesses. But he'll call me and I'll be like, hey, what's up? And he's like, oh, well, he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm working. He's like, cool, gotta go, bye. And I'll hang up. So he can wait. But anyway,
I got some cool pizza. You want to see the pizza I just got? I'm in a hot air balloon eating it with the hedgehog.
Yeah, see, we're creating those experiences. He's a smart guy though. He runs all the numbers. I'm the creative side, the networking side. But but also conversations like that are very common for him. So anyway,
well, that's a healthy relationships. What that is. If he can call you about anything.
Oh yeah, anything.
I've got a zit right on my cheek.
And you're like, okay, gotta go. And sometimes he'll call me and it's silent. And I'm like, hello. And he's like, yeah, what's up? What's going on? And I'm like, you called me. And he's like, oh yeah. Anyway, I gotta go. And it's just, okay.
So going to Mexico and having do you speak Spanish? Or?
I can understand it more than I can speak it. But once I'm there for about 10 days, I can go out on my own and I can really, I'm pretty good. I can get by. But
El gato está en la biblioteca.
That's good. But if not, it is hard. I feel like you have to keep going. Yeah. Like, for example, it's very slang over there, and I was in Spanish immersion all through elementary school, junior high, high school. Yeah. But it'd be as if we are speaking Shakespeare, like it's very old school. And they're so slang now that there's so many words that I don't know. And I told his mom, I tried to tell his mom that my grandpa thought that she was pretty. And hot. So I used the word caliente. Oh. And I was like, oh, my grandpa thinks you're caliente or whatever. And everybody was like, what? And I was like, what did I say?
Embarazada?
Yeah. Apparently.
Not pregnant either. Yeah.
Apparently it means horny.
Memorable.
Memorable. But anyways, I just got to be there longer to pick it up, really pick it up.
Yeah,
but,
or just lean into what you know and don't know.
Well, and it would help too because we run a Spanish community here in Utah as well. And so I just need to be better at my...
A Spanish community?
Yeah, for real estate.
Oh, wow.
So we help
run a whole group.
Yeah, so we help people get into real estate as well. So we hold events all the time. So I not only do fun networking events, but I do real estate events too.
Wow.
And business events and the networking events. So, but we run it in English and Spanish.
So how do you keep all these things straight? All these different roads.
You should see my planner.
Is it like a digital planner that just...
No, it's an actual planner. I like to write things down, so it's just all colored and all
So what keeps you up at night? It sounds like you have your thoughts well organized. Does anything wake you up at 2 a.m. and you're like, oh my goodness, the hot air balloon's gonna fall out of the sky, and the hedgehog is gonna poop in the bag? Like, what is keeping you up at night?
I mean, I feel like everything used to keep me up at night when I worked here, because I have to be focused on Suncrest while I was here, and then I'd run to my office because my office is in Lehigh, my own personal, and then I'd stay up all night thinking about all these things, and that was a mixture of Suncrest things and my things.
Yeah.
And so now, actually, I'm sleeping pretty good because...
That's great to hear.
Yeah, and I got an Oura ring, and it tracks my sleep.
Oh,
so.
like the one that like checks.
Yeah, my friends made me do it. So, but it tells you if you're stressed, and I'm like, I gotta work on my stress then. Or it tells you if I'm sleeping good and where my heart rate was when I'm sleeping, and if I was tossing and turning. Yeah, it's crazy.
I put one on, it'd probably burn up because it
probably
can't read it's too stressful. It just
you need an Oura ring.
Roll away.
It's like the backwards magnets.
It it's like, please don't put me back on.
It just doesn't go good together.
Yeah, it's like the Sauron situation. So I guess having the rings kind of like you have like a Sonic the Hedgehog thing, and you make it gold. So it's all paired up.
I almost bought it, but it was like double the price.
But you have a hedgehog. You have to
That's true. It would have been worth it. That would have been good.
Now that I think of it.
Now we gotta return it.
So did you grow up in Utah? Like, so what brought you into this community? What brought you into all this place? You're from here? Yeah.
So I guess my timeline, I did grow up in Utah. I was born in Provo, and then I grew up in Payson for a little bit. And then I grew up on a farm. And so I did rodeos. I did barrel racing, pole racing. I did the horse shows. I used to do all the farm work. Like I sometimes miss cleaning up manure. Like it's just, I don't know. Sometimes you miss that. It's very nostalgic.
I worked in a zoo and I cleaned up zebra manure.
That's cooler than
smelled
mine.
bad.
Yeah, but sometimes you're like, that was kind of fun.
It was heavy.
Yeah, it is heavy. Like we had this whole, like we'd fill out the wheelbarrow, and then I'd dump it on this hill, and that manure hill got so big that it was even with the roof of our barn.
Wow.
And so I'd climb up on the barn as a little kid, and then we'd jump on the manure hill and sled to And that was like one of the most memorable things. I was such a little tomboy, and I loved rolling, like with no sled. It was just my body, and I just loved rolling. Your
clothes.
Down. Yeah.
But you knew it was not mud. Like you knew.
It's just chewed up grass. And so then, like, I'd pretend I was like a witch with like the horses, water. My mom hated that, and then I would stand in
ingredients into it.
Yeah, but she's like, I just filled that up, and I'm like, but I'm witchy,
And I'm pouring in all this weird stuff, like this half-empty Sprite can.
Yes, the horses loved it. But yeah, so I did that, and then we lived in.
Too, yeah.
And and we'd stand in anthills too. My brother and I would stand in anthills, and we'd get covered in ants, and then we'd race to the barn, and whoever had the most amount of ants or the least amount of ants, I don't remember, won.
Wow.
But whoever...
The least amount of bites, I would imagine.
They were black ants. We were fine.
Oh, okay. But, the red ants or something else.
So I loved the farm. I feel like that kind of gave me some tough skin. Yeah. And like, that was like working hard, That's kind of where I think that originated. And then I also did gymnastics for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so I did that for a long time. That's where I think the dedication and working hard came from.
Did you pursue gymnastics on your own, or did your parents see it as something you should do?
Oh, no. My parents are very, whatever you think is best for you, honey. Like, they were so relaxed about it. And did gymnastics, went down to college. So I went to college at 17.
Wow.
Yeah. And
so you're like a genius type person.
No, I was just young. And I coached there for a little bit.
Where'd you go to college at?
SUU. Southern Utah, and I loved it.
What year were you there?
2013 to 17.
Okay, I went there in 2008.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're older than me.
I'm old. Yeah, I'm 30,
But it is
30.
fun.
Yeah.
SU's great, and like you're so close to St. George and all those places. So I help organize gymnastics camps, where that I think kind of eased into the event side.
Really?
And I also always threw parties. My house was called the Love Shack. I inherited that name. I didn't name my house that name.
Wait, how did your house you lived at growing up?
Yeah, no, my house in Cedar.
Oh, okay.
At SUU. So it was the first hospital in Cedar City in the 1800s, and now it's a home. And when I got the house, the people before me, full of missionaries, named it the Love Shack. So there were lights on my balcony.
Missionaries named it the Love Shack?
Yeah, I know.
What?
And so, I don't know.
Am I following the correct timeline?
Just so many details that don't make sense.
She needs her own show.
I know. I could give you so many stories. You have no idea. Cedar City was wild. Like I found a naked man in my house in Cedar. That's a whole other story too.
Found like dead or found alive?
No, like he snuck in. And I mean, if you want me to tell a story, I will.
It's your story, not mine.
I know we're getting off track here, but I'll tell you really fast. Well, after the Love Shack. Yeah. And so Love was in red, Shack was in blue. Yeah. And even I threw parties there, and like the police knew my house as the Love Shack. They're like, we're at the Love Shack. And I'm like, yeah.
It was like a mile
it's
marker
us again.
thing.
It kind of was in Cedar City. It was right across from campus. Like you could just see it.
Where was it? Because there was a road.
Do you know where the business building is?
Yes.
Or not the business building,
there's
the
PE
general building.
And there's an overpass that goes to the other side to the Rich Hill.
Yeah, not on that side. It's over kind of by where like Homecoming Week
The Shakespeare.
Yeah, the Shakespeare. It was kind of over there, so it's across the street from that building.
Oh, I know which house that is.
Yeah, it was.
But it's like is it on the corner or is
Nope, not in the corner.
Okay,
it's kind of in the middle of the street, but it's I mean, it was definitely haunted. Like we had
haunted.
Yeah, because it was the first hospital in Cedar
City. I gotta
City.
start taking notes.
Oh my gosh, like there were scary things that happened in that house. Like nothing really scary happened to me, but like one of my friends, she woke up with like scratches on her back. Things were moving around in our house all the time.
So you saw stuff move around?
We saw that. There was one time in our living room where I had this wicker shelf cabinet thing, and we would put our empty wine glasses on it, and it all started shaking one time, and then 2 pulled out and just dropped. We all watched it. There was like 7 of us in there. Like it was a creepy house. No, they just fell to the carpet, and and then it was just things were moving in the house all the time. One of the people who lived in there before us, we were still friends with them. Yeah. There was a photo of them in the living room, and in the back you see this little girl in the kitchen. Yeah. She lived in the basement. I know it.
Are you being serious?
I'm being serious. What? It's crazy. And I even had a median. What is it? Those people who like know ghost people. They speak to ghosts. Anyway, she was walking back and forth in front of our house one time, and I was like, "Can we help you?" And she was like, "I just feel the energy from this house." She had her own TV show and everything. She's like, "Can I please go in?" And I was like, "Yes." But my roommates wouldn't let her. So
this all happened. This is real.
Yeah, and that's only the beginning until the naked man.
First, before you get to the naked man, did you believe in ghosts before this occurred? Happened?
I don't know. I've never had like experiences like that. Okay. So I don't know. But there were times I'd be home alone for Christmas break, and I'd hear the doors shutting upstairs, and then you'd hear something like heavy being dragged across.
At this house.
Yeah, at this house. And then, like my cup, we were going to a luau party, like those themed college parties. Yeah. And we all went to the dollar store and bought some themed cups, like coconuts, tiki cups. Mine was a purple tiki cup. And we were getting ready for the party, and then all of a sudden in our shopping bag, my cup was gone. And we were looking everywhere for this cup. Yeah. And then they were searching the whole house. And then we come back downstairs to the empty room next to my room, and my purple cup was just smack in the middle of the room. And we all just screamed because it wasn't there.
What?
And then all of a sudden it was there. It was just things like that. It was really weird.
I've had only one cup move in my entire life. I was in Brazil, and it like moved across the table.
Like you saw it?
Yeah. I was like, that's weird. And then I like picked it up. It must have been like maybe the heat on the table and the water.
You're like, or I'm just telekinetic.
Then they're like, we gotta move houses. I don't know about this.
Yeah. Oh man.
But I don't know if it was a ghost or if it was like just like the temperature of the desk made it.
It was a ghost.
I don't know. But your story is making me more convinced it was a ghost.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. And UFOs, ghosts and UFOs always exist in the
They do. Yeah. There's just always catch them every now and then. I guess.
You see them? Have you seen a UFO?
No, just on internet, but it's the internet.
Okay.
So I saw Starlink, and I thought that was a UFO. I was calling my family, and I was like,
that was cool. Yeah. The one
I was like, something's happening, and they're like,
it's
Elon Musk. And I'm like, oh, go Elon. Went back to bed.
He's gonna get us.
Yeah.
Or not get us. I don't know.
I was camping in Wyoming when I saw that, and I was like, this is wild. But
yeah, like one streak of lights going up.
Yeah.
So you're in the house. There's a naked guy in the house.
Oh, yes.
Discovered. So
that house was a different house, but just down the street. And I was, all of a sudden, I was in the basement. My room was the basement. And
even spookier.
Yeah. But the window well faced my like carport, and that's where my car was. And all of a sudden, all the lights, like my car lights went on. And so I was like, what the heck? So I went up the stairs, opened my door, and there was a naked man in my car looking in my bedroom window. And he was like doing something naughty.
How did he get in your car?
That's what I'm saying, because I was like, I always lock my car. So I must have just not locked it that night.
Did you have your keys in the car still?
No, didn't have my keys in it. So I must have just not locked it. But I usually do. I'm an avid locker. So I don't know. But he was in there on all fours doing his thing. I know. And so I was like, get out of my car. I'm like screaming at him. And now
did you have your roommates around?
No. Well,
if I encountered a naked man, I'd just be like, it's the police's deal.
Well, listen, I did everything that you see stupid people in like scary movies do, like go up the stairs, and you're like, oh, I would never do that in real life. I did every single thing of these.
Maybe that's why that house is haunted, because it's
no, this is the one down the street though. Yeah, this is a different house. So, and so then I was like, get out of my car. And he ran out of my car. I shut the door, came inside, locked the door, and I went downstairs back in my room. And I called my ex-boyfriend at the time. And I was FaceTiming him, and I was like, there's someone outside. And I look up out of my little windowsill, and he's there. He was in my window looking in.
What on earth?
So I'm freaking out, and he had already called the cops. And so I'm still on FaceTime, and I was like, stay there, and our front door is always locked. My roommate upstairs, I think this was around Valentine's. So this might be like almost an anniversary of the naked man, actually.
That's why it's coming
because she was like, make sure I stay here, because she wanted to go hang out with this guy who was stupid. And she's like, make sure I don't go anywhere. And I was like, you got it. Yeah. And she's upstairs. All of a sudden, I hear the front door open, and I was like, that front door is never unlocked. Like, naked man is in my house. And my boyfriend was like, you get out of the house. And I was like, I have to save my friend Lucy. So I go up the stairs like an idiot, and I'm going through my house, and her room was at the end of the hallway,
right?
And then there's a door on the side right before her room, like the last door before her bedroom on the end. Okay. And I walked past the bathroom door, and I see this figure standing in the bathtub, and I knew it was him, and my heart fell out of my butt.
What, you got up the stairs?
Well, no, but he came in the front door. So I was in the basement. He came in the front door.
Oh, my word.
Yeah. So he was in my house. And so I run into Lucy's room, because I just saw him in the bathtub. Running around, I was like, we have to go. She's not there. She snuck out. And I was like, I risked my life for this girl.
Oh, my word.
So anyway, I did the next stupid thing, and I turned on the light, and I was like, you have to leave my house. The cops are on the way. I'm talking to him. I have a picture of it.
You're trying to reason with the guy?
Yeah, do you want to see it? I have a picture of it. Well, I was like, get out of my house. And he was like...
Is this traumatic to retell? Is
no.
Is it you have I can't sleep tonight because I revisited that bad memory?
No, because I was like, I did buy a little baby gun after that. And so
I didn't ask.
So this is me FaceTiming. So my boyfriend at the time screenshot it, but this is him sitting in the bathtub.
Oh my word. This is real, guys.
It's real.
Everything she's saying is real.
And so he runs out. I was like, the cops are on their way. So I run out. He runs out of the house, and the cops come, and they find him in another car, naked.
Another car?
Yeah, he snuck in another house. Yeah, I think so. He was on drugs, and they came to me, and they're like, Bree, next time this happens, I'm like, next time? Like, what do you mean next time? They're like, don't go upstairs, don't talk to him, don't. Just
every place where you can't escape, you went.
Yes. So anyway, I in Cedar City at SUU, we'd always look at the bookings the next day, and on the bookings we found him. So I look him up on social media.
You would always look at the bookings, like
because you'd always know your friends.
It was a pastime.
Well, everybody's drinking underage, and I'm like, I know you, and I know you, and I know you.
We just look at the bookings. It's something we do. I do it now.
Every Sunday morning.
It's like social media, but more fun.
Yeah. And so we, anyway, I look him up on social media, and his Instagram page was a bunch of pictures, and it was like me and my friends. And it'd be like if we're at a party and someone just says smile with their phone and everybody smiles, it was like that. And it was me and my friends in the photos. So it was like...
Wait, so he was sneaking in pictures of you guys?
Yeah, I don't know if he was like stalking or like
stalking you or
something.
Yeah,
he was always at the parties, and then everybody says smile, so everybody smiles, and then you move on with your day. And his Instagram was like pictures with us. Isn't that weird?
I think my boring life I'm fine with it.
You're like, I'm good to not have that happen to me.
If anything, I'm happy that I'm boring. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So
I'm sorry that happened, but also...
but like fun stories, you learn.
Have you told that story a lot then?
Yeah, that's a cool story.
Because you got it dialed. Like,
yeah,
you got
I'm
the
like,
whole
I
thing.
have it.
You got the door located. You got the whole storytelling thing down.
Yep. So I guess I digress and go back to how we got here. So after I left Cedar, and I was working at a Mexican restaurant too. So I did the Mexican restaurant and I coached at the SUU.
What were you studying at SUU?
I studied, so I went from biology, emphasis on marine biology, and then athletic training, and then communications, and then I decided to go to HRHM.
You changed that many
Yeah, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I did. In 4 years.
Oh, you were there all 4 years?
Yeah, I was there all 4 years. Okay. So then I ended up doing hotel, resort, and hospitality management, where those field trips went to Vegas all the time. We went to Park City, we went to all the hotels and the restaurants and breweries, things like that. So that was really fun. Yeah.
You weren't sitting in a room being like,
part of the time, yes. But yeah, so we did that. And then after I graduated, I came up to Salt Lake again, came up here, and I got a job at coaching gymnastics at Black Diamond in South Jordan, which was in Daybreak.
You're doing that at SUU as well?
Yep.
Coaching,
yep. Okay. And then, so I did that, and then I got a job at the HOA at Daybreak. So I was working both jobs. So I was doing like 13-hour days, 20-hour weekends coaching. Yeah, so I was like, never saw the sun.
Did you ever burn out? Did you?
I almost did. And so then...
Almost did?
Almost did. So then I was like, okay, I gotta...
There's some water if you need it.
And then after a couple years there, 3 years there, 2.5, and the Suncrest lifestyle position opened up. So I came up here, applied, and then I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so here we are.
I think your energy towards things you're doing is unmatchable. I would
thanks.
say you have an enthusiasm for things.
Yeah.
That's impressive. So,
thank you.
So your timeline seems pretty like there's a lot of I think interesting things that have happened.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately it's pushed you towards where you are now.
Yeah.
Which is excellent.
Yeah, and I watched that movie Yes Man, and I just want to say yes. Like I wrote a book. I was an author in a book called Creating Her Empire. One of the authors. There's a bunch of us, a bunch of women in it, but. But I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Gave that a try, and then.
So is it published? Can we go buy it?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Creating Her Empire. I think this version was Finding a Woman's Purpose or Finding Your Own Purpose. So I talk about my life in there because my upbringing. I've had some thing like my dad went to prison for 9 years, and we're good now, but things. So talk about that, and then kind of how to. Work past that, working with like my mom and my dad and creating relationships again and not dwelling on the past is really big for my life. So I like to say yes to things. And then also it's kind of like that quote that says, if you got, what is it? Like 8, 1, 2, whatever, like over millions and millions of dollars, right? And then it says, if somebody stole $10 from you, would you throw the rest of your money away? And it's like, well, of course not. So it's like, well, that's how many minutes are in your day. So if someone ruined 10 minutes of your day, are you going to let that ruin the rest of your day? And I feel like that quote.
You all listening to
this?
If you go on Facebook and you have one bad comment.
Yeah. It's like, why let that bother you? Like, learn from it going forward. So I think that's what my chapter's about, is like not dwelling on it.
You kind of developed your own philosophy chapter. So it's philosophical. So do you develop that on your own?
My chapter?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Gemini.
Cool. And Gemini.
ChatGPT.
We're good friends.
Yeah, we're great friends. I don't know how to write a book.
Your new hedgehog's name's Gemini.
That'll be the next one.
It's nickname's Gem, so you can say Gem and I.
Gem and I. You're witty.
Not as fast as you are. I'm trying to keep up. I'm like, geez, I can't. I haven't jumped on a manure pile yet, but I need to do that. Well, I grew up in the Oklahoma and Tennessee, so I was like in the kind of like out in the boonies.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of crazy things with snapping turtles and stuff, but
I
nothing
bet.
like a farm. Yeah.
Oh, my family moved to Tennessee, so they're out there.
Really?
Yeah, but every time someone says Oklahoma, I think of the Oklahoma where the wind
comes sweeping down the plains, the waving wheat. Yeah.
That's all I hear.
Yeah, it goes over and over.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole musical about it. So.
Yeah, so every word that you said after you lived in Oklahoma, I was just singing it in my head.
And you can spell the name out because it says it in the music. Okay, L-A-H-U-M-A. But yeah, so I'd love to kind of close things off with, I know you're busy. What are you hoping to achieve this year or in the next few years? Because you have a lot of energy, you've got a lot of ambition, and you've got more things happening. But what is your vision for yourself and for your maybe team eventually? I don't know what you're looking at doing.
I think just growing my real estate portfolio, obviously. That just because that keeps the money coming in. So that'll be a lot of my focus this year. And the events. Like I want to create 2 signature events for the state of Utah. I would love to do that. But incorporating a lot of business owners in that. So I think if I can solidify the details to those 2 events, and one of them being like a charity gala for Utah. I would love to do that. And so I think just continuing building my relationships and then creating the 2 signature events for Utah, and then hopefully expand outside that. And then, and then just keep building my real estate portfolio so I can travel the world more. Like I love going on trips, and I just want to buy a one-way ticket places and come back when I feel like it.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I would love to do that. So I think as long as I can do that, I'm living the life that I want. And
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we can support you. Please ask us to help any way we can.
Yeah.
You need us to donate or anything, but also our time. If you need help with anything, I'm happy to try to help.
Yeah, I'm going to need your help with audio and video anyway. So.
Yeah, but my wife, she works in events. So
she does?
She did all that, some different locations she's been for events.
Oh my gosh, I'll
you guys
with
have
her.
to meet.
Yeah, because I've got like a beauty pop-up event in Park City coming up. I'm still doing Easter events, so I would love, it's not going to hunt. But
she loves the, and she shares, and I like it too, the shared experience of an event.
For
sure. The energy that's there. It's hard to describe. It's kind of like describing the flavor of chocolate.
Yeah, but
like you don't know how it is until you're there. But yeah, you guys should definitely meet. So I
would love that.
I'll get you guys connected up because she has a lot of desire to do the same thing. So
have her hop on, because I'm just like any feedback, any help, because I'm just a one-man show right now. And but people in Suncrest have been so great. Like I've had so many people say, like, if you ever need help, just let us know. Like and a lot of the business owners from the farmers market up here have also offered. They're like, I will go to any event that you need me at. Like everybody's like, I love Suncrest. I want to stay in touch with the people here in Suncrest. And so, as long as we can all help each other, that's my goal.
We've done a great job. I mean,
thank you.
Even the critiques you've received have all been probably because they believe in you more than anything, and they believe in the events. So, but we're really scared to not see them coming in as good. Hopefully they're good.
Hopefully,
we're hoping they're happening still. But I don't think even at this point.
Molly, you'll get to know her, but she has more of like a theater background, so I think she wants to bring more like plays and things like that up here, which could be fun. So she might just totally have a really awesome twist on the events up here. We won't be getting the market anymore.
Okay.
Just because liability reasons, I know.
Liability reasons?
Yeah.
What's the liability?
Well, for example, my Christmas event that I moved outdoors. Did you come to that?
Awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. But I had the train.
Genius, by the way.
Oh, thank you. And I had the train going around the park. It was supposed to give people rides on the sidewalk, and a car hit my train, and it stopped working, and that was at the beginning of the event. So that was like its own little thing, So I think the bigger the market's got, between the liability, my own insurance, the Suncrest HOA insurance on the park, all the vendors have their insurance. Like, I know there's so many different pieces, but with there not a lot of parking, the roads are narrow, the bigger it got, the harder it would be. And so I just think it was just a little tough, especially if I was leaving too. So
dang.
I know. But she might do, I know that she has gotten feedback about like the youth entrepreneur up here and some of the local businesses. She might do something, it'll just be only for Suncrest, where I kind of turn the market into a public event.
Yeah, which is super cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to bring something special up here, but if she makes it just residents only, I know she was kind of talking about that when I left. So, because I got to train her for a week. So, which is good. So
well, we're excited to have her on.
Yeah.
And I'll critique. I won't critique anyone. I'll show up and help if I can.
Yeah. So, no, that's great.
Yeah. But is there anything else you want to share? I know you had a couple irons in the fire still. I didn't want to extinguish those.
That's kind of, I'll just come on again and tell you the rest of my stories.
The naked man.
The naked man, the hot air balloon, the hedgehog. I have to bring my new hedgehog up when I get her.
This one time on a podcast, I talked about a lot of poop and a lot of naked people. It's weird. And ghosts.
But you'll remember it.
It's true. Well, it's on brand for you. So thank you so much for coming on. And I know you're busy, so I'll let you get back to your day. But if anyone else wants to come on the podcast, I'm trying to keep them happening. I'm not sick anymore. I was sick for like a whole month. So nothing happened.
Back.
Yeah, it's influenza A and pneumonia.
Those are the worst,
from Christmas to like the end of January. I was just sick. Yeah.
That's so sad.
It was crazy. I'm like, I feel like I'm dying.
Yeah, now you gotta come back.
Yeah. So
well, I'll help spread the word. Thanks for inviting me on it, but this is fun. Like, you're so fun.
Well, I just want you to have a good time.
I had a great time.
Yeah. Great storyteller. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thanks again for coming on, and we'll cut it there.
Yeah, great.
I don't know how to end these, so it's